We're going to talk about how to use your marketing to attract the right talent to your own company. I'm Ben. This is Building Business. I've got Jim Aline here, and this is something I don't think a lot of people think about, but your marketing is also not just for your customer, it's for other people you're trying to hire. And so your brand's coming through in two different ways. What's like the number one thing that you could do to elevate the brand to attract the right people?
I think the companies that I see doing this very successfully are showing what it's like to work at their company on an ongoing basis. So when you have that company party, social media content.
Oh yeah.
Right? When you're rewarding employees for whatever it is, it's content on social media. It lets your customers see, it's a good company to hire, but at the same time it's good for people, for future employees to see that, I'd like to work there. They do a lot of fun stuff.
And that also helps with customers too.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh man, this seems like a cool company and it seems like they've really got things dialed in. So clearly I want to work with them. What I think this comes back to is you're trying to show your company culture.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I've thought a lot about culture over the years as I've ran different businesses. And I honestly think most people think company culture is two things, like, we have an Xbox in the office, it's a great culture, and we're winning, so it's a good culture, and if we're not winning, it must be a sucky culture. But every business goes in ebb and flow. So I don't think either of those are true at all. Those may be symptoms of some kind of specialized culture, but I think culture is like how your employees talk about the company when they're not at work. What do they say to their friends? What do they say to their family at home? That's what the real culture is. That's the perception of the culture. And you're trying to capture the good of that and show it to other people that may be your employees coming down the road there.
That's a perfect analogy because, again, your reputation or in the marketplace as a company is how those homeowners or building owners are talking about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind your back, right? So it's, when you're not in the room. So that's a perfect analogy. And we are in a challenging time for attracting talent.
Yeah, very difficult.
Right? It's
maybe
very
the
difficult.
most I can remember in my lifetime.
Definitely. And so I think the generation in their 20s and coming in, maybe early 30s are expecting a different workplace environment than our parents did, right? My dad worked at a mine.
Yeah. Wow.
It wasn't Fun Day Friday.
Casual Friday in the mine.
It was put your hard hat on and go to work Friday, right? And that's, so the things have changed and times have changed and it, we have to be a place that have a business that people want to work for. And in doing that, that's where that company culture gets built. A lot of times I see companies and that I think that a lot of that can start with, because there's a starting point of that. There isn't really a culture when you're getting started, right? There's not a lot of processes. There's not a lot of anything. But I've seen a lot of contractors start this just with defining their core values. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah. I love core values. In fact, I actually think they can be a great marketing tool, not only for new employees, but for customers. I know if I'm working with a contractor and they give me their card or I go on their website and it says so-and-so contractor is their name, and then underneath it's like integrity, and they sort of list out their 3 core values or something, I believe it, because if they're willing to put it out there, that means they must focus on it. Yeah. And that means I can hold them to those things, and every employee I interact with is going to have that value, right?
Yeah,
that's my expectation, at least.
In owning a lot of businesses, how have you developed core values for your businesses? Yeah.
So I always define them as like what got us where we are right now if we've been in business for a little while, or what do we think we need to have to get where we're going? What types of attributes would this company need to win long term? That kind of gives you the place to start. And then you're also looking for like just generalities. I'm looking for people that are learning oriented, because the best businesses always are the fastest at learning, these types of things. So it sort of informs it. But I believe that you should always do your company values with your core team and have everybody have a say. It works way better. And typically you always come up with same types of things, but they'll be unique to your company each time, because every company has its own vibe and its own personality that you're trying to capture in those values.
And that's where the buy-in comes into place.
Yep.
I heard of a fun exercise when you're developing your core values with the team. It's like, hey, remember when Bob worked here and we hated how Bob was?
Oh, that's true. Yep.
Everything about Bob was the opposite of our core values.
It's easier to understand it when you contrast.
Sometimes it's easier in that contrast, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh yeah, this person was terrible to work with, or they never took care, like they really never took care of the customers. They weren't, if the person that you disliked working next to did not communicate well, well then one of your core values could be communication.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Because that those are the things that will take your business to the next level.
So like you've developed core values, you got this strong company culture that you've built, now you're going to show that to the world. You want to like sort of vision out what it's like to work here, because we know that helps with customers as well. Is that like social media posts? Is it mostly there, or do you do other things?
I would say mostly social media posts.
That's certainly what we do here.
Community involvement is another thing.
Yep.
So, I know a lot of contractors that'll take their team out and rebuild a snack shack for a little league team, right?
I think it's a great idea.
Or they'll do Habitat for Humanity, right? They'll do something like that where their team gets together and does volunteering and things like that. So that is a way of expressing your company culture, of being involved in the community, and what it's like to work with you. It's not just, hey, 9 to 5, go home and you're done. Like this is more of a family style, there's relationships here, and we're all doing some good in the community. Right. And I think that's another way to help and express those core values.
Not to wax too philosophical here, but with religion becoming less important in a lot of people's lives and less people going to church than ever before, just like there's components of people's lives that are changing. And what I've found is that people are looking for meaning in life, because it used to be provided through other sources and they can't find it. So the younger generations right now, unlike, let's say my grandpa, worked for the same company his whole life, and it's just a job. Who cares? Get the work done. That's not the mentality of my kids or my younger siblings or whatever. They're looking for a cause. They're looking for something that gives meaning to the work. So the idea of Habitat for Humanity, I really recommend every contractor be thinking about. Where Dan the Fence King always says, like, I'm building a company, not a checking account. And I love that, because a lot of customers, I think, or not customers, but just contractors in general, think it's about the money, got to just make the dollars. And sure, that's an aspect. I'm not saying it's not, but it's hollow and hard to chase. And attracting the right younger people, they're not into the money aspects. They're much more into like the meaning. So having a cause, like, we, as a company, we have a lot of vets here. We give back for veterans. So every dollar we make, we do this with it. You show that off. Everybody goes, wow, my job has meaning beyond the day-to-day making money.
Yeah. Two of my favorite contractors doing that. One is down in Orange County, Antis Roofing, Charles Antis, if you've ever met him. Just the purpose and behind it, it's almost that his company is a philanthropic organization.
Ooh, that's cool.
Right,
yeah.
The way that they work, and
certainly the perception for the average person thinks that, right?
And for the feeling of people working there,
right?
Like he's not looking for the next check, right? Or it doesn't feel that way, But now in the stuff they do Habitat for Humanity in Ronald McDonald House. I had him on my podcast. He just had some interesting insights. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be off here, we've found out that my math isn't as good as yours through this conversation through this series here, but it was like he has like a 95% retention rate.
Oh yeah, that's very high for this industry, like earth-shatteringly high.
Earth-shattering high.
Yeah.
Another company I just did an interview with was with Chase Roofing down in they're down in Florida, and they also have a lot of philanthropic involvement in their company, and everyone on the team is involved. Starting off with your causes, and then asking.
That's right. Asking employees
what matters what's important to them.
Yep.
Maybe they had a family member that had leukemia.
Yep.
And an organization around leukemia is important to them.
I think making it personal is even
making
better.
It personal.
Yeah.
And the way that, if I remember right, the way that Antis does it is they'll have, I don't know if it's monthly or quarterly, but they'll focus on like someone who was doing well in the company, like employee of the month, but they get employee of the month, but then now everyone does something for their favorite cause. Right? So there's all these super cool cultural things, but understanding your business, your core values, understanding who you are, what you want to be will help in that.
The thing I really love about this topic is, one, it's actually a really smart way to market, because every homeowner wants to work with a company that's doing good in the world and giving back.
Yep.
So you're just elevating your brand. But this is the best part. It's actually the right thing to do, and you're doing good. So it's a win-win.
For sure. It's marketing in the best way possible.
Thanks so much for joining us. You gotta go to jobnimbus.com/building business now. We've got a bunch of resources there. There's tips and tricks, there's industry insights, and all of it is free. So go and check it out right away. Job Nimbus is the best software tool to get you more organized, more efficient, and frankly, to give you your life back so you can have some life balance as you run your business.
For more information about roofer marketers, go to roofermarketers.com and get a copy of our free book, The Best Known Roofer, the omnipresent framework for your roofing company.